Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. Then number 8, he says, yearning for God, very important. Do I want it? This is unfortunately, we will scratch our head and say, yes, I want it, but not enough. Stimulate. Swami Ashokanji says, simulate it. Suppose I wanted it. Imagine the intense desire of Sri Ramakrishna for seeing the Divine Mother Kali. The intense seeking of Vivekananda. I must see God. All the lives of the great saints, one thing they had in common. Men and women, ancient, medieval, modern, one thing they had in common. This intense desire for God, this hunger for God. So to some extent, simulate it. It will come. If you have that, everything else is okay. Everything will fall in place. Because if you have the desire, everything else, we do whatever we want, we actually arrange everything accordingly and try to get that. It's only when we do not want, then lot of techniques, methods, books, all are necessary. Sri Ramakrishna says to the man who is very thirsty, even water in a puddle on the ground, he'll remove the scum on the top and try to drink that water on the puddle in the ground. Very thirsty. And person who's not thirsty, never even think of that water, my God. Not thirsty, then you require what? Poland spring water. What is there? Yes. Nestle Pure Life. From the Swiss Alps, yes. Otherwise it will not do. Or something else is there. Smart water. Water is not smart really. It is the name smart water, intelligent water or smart water. So, not thirsty.
Hold on. It's not smart water. And it's, it's good enough.
In Vedanta they speak about so many qualifications. Viveka, Vairagya, discernment, dispassion for worldliness. If you read all that, you will feel, no, it's not for me. But it's for everybody actually. Ramana Maharshi, that nice story is there. Somebody went and said, am I qualified for Vedanta? Am I qualified for, so many qualifications necessary. Am I qualified for Vedanta? And Ramana Maharshi, he's who am I? So he said, did you say I? Then you're qualified. If you say I, and that's something that every one of us says, then you're qualified. You are qualified to ask who am I. If you say I, you're qualified to ask who am I. So yearning for God. We are all qualified to realize God. The more we move towards it, the more yearning will increase. And then number 9, have a bhava throughout the day. This is important. Don't jump into meditation. This is not translatable into English. With some of the Swamis in the monastery, they sit down, they'll put their cloth around them, sit for meditation, and they have a rosary, prayer bead. Immediately you can hear the rattling sound, rattling very fast, it's like a machine has been switched on. Not like that. When you come, sit quietly for some time, quieten down, then gently enter into meditation. After you have finished, then sit quietly for some time before you come back into the world. Take time, give time to it. Throughout the day, have like the sitar music in the background, like Tanpura music in the background, Tanpura music. Like that, have a connection of the divine throughout the day. Maybe the mantra is going on, maybe a prayer is going on in the mind. That advice we read, Sri Ramakrishna gave to Latu Maharaj, Jage joge jege thakbi. When you are awake throughout your days, in the days to come, when Sri Ramakrishna, when I'm not there, throughout your days, be awake in yoga and yaga. Yoga means some connection to God. You're visualizing, meditating, repeating the name of God. And yaga means service, yajna, the sacrifice. So throughout the day, morning till night, some connection is there. So when you sit down for meditation, I would see one way the monks would establish this connection is, they would visit the temple several times throughout the day. They would make it a part of their routine. Even in the midst of their busy schedule, of course, morning they will come for meditation. And then after breakfast, they'll bow down to in the shrine and go back to their rooms. When they're going for their work in the office, school or somewhere, On their way, they'll come to the shrine and bow down. In the middle of their work, sometimes they'll come once and bow down. Just before lunch, the bell is there. So some breaks in the whole day, you take that opportunity, connect it to God. You may not have a shrine to go and bow down to, but you can have a little picture which you can open and look at, or it touch to your head. So connect yourself to God throughout the day, somehow or the other. I remember this old Swami. These images keep coming. I was a young novice, as usual, a bookworm. So I'd come to the library in the main monastery. I was in another institution nearby. So I'd come to the library in the main monastery. I was reading, and the library closed for evening prayers. Instead of going to the evening prayers, I was going back to my room to read the book. And this old Swami was coming. He was like perfectly round. He was short, and he was maybe in his 70s or 80s. I still remember. Very funny, very loving old Swami. He saw that the bell has rung, and this young novice is walking the other way. So as I passed him, he caught my hand. Nothing, I didn't even say anything. He sort of, as he walked along, he was very strong. So he literally dragged me after him, lovingly, so that I will go and sit down and meditate. Some were not so sweet. I remember once, another time, these are the memories that you have. They may be scoldings, but you remember them with great love throughout your life. When I was very new, after the evening prayer, we were supposed to meditate. I came down from the temple into the library, which was below the temple, opened the library, opened the book. In those days, no computers, anything. You had to open the encyclopedias and read. So I was pulling it out, preparing for my next day's classes, which I would teach the students. Trick of the mind. You don't have to prepare in the meditation time for the classes. But a senior Swami, I still remember him, a very tough Swami. He comes and, "What are you doing?" I said, "Swami, I'm preparing for the class tomorrow." Even as I said it, it sounded false to me. Yeah, avoiding meditation. Put it back. And he stood and glared at me until I put the book back and locked the cabinet, the book cabinet, and go up and meditate. And he stood glaring at me like this until I sort of climbed the stairs looking back at him. He was at the bottom of the stairs until you would sit in the... He had a very direct approach to training the youngsters. So early morning, if you're meditating or sleeping, suddenly at this tremendous burst, dark in the shrine, a tremendous burst of light. I thought, what, already enlightenment? I was just maybe 1 week into becoming a monk. So that's pretty fast. No, it was early in the morning, and the Swami was holding a powerful flashlight and checking which novice was meditating and who was sleeping, I remember there's interesting discussions. Novices always, there's a struggle to get up early in the morning and meditate. So this Swami, who was the second Swami, a very tough Swami, he went to the head Swami, who was much wiser and much more and very, very spiritual man. This second Swami was very worried. Why are these youngsters not getting up in the morning and meditate? Why are they so sleepy? So he went to the senior Swami and he said, if we give them sweets, cookies in the morning, will they come? If you say that if you come to the temple, we'll give you a cookie. In Bengali, he said, "Mishti dile ki habe?" Will they come? The senior Swami, with an exasperated voice, he said, "Fools, let the fools sleep." He said his terrifying words. "Highway to hell," he said, "highway to hell. Let the fools sleep." That woke us up. Then last one, holy company. Swami Ashokananda says, this whether you believe it or not, I think this is the most important thing. Holy company. Company of, remember, he had the company of Swami Brahmananda, Swami Shivananda, many of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. He knew many people who were actually enlightened, Jivan Muktas. He said, once you meet such a person, the reality of spiritual life cannot be denied. Once you see such a person, even briefly also, you will never forget it your whole life. There is something extra. That little boy who saw the Buddha and asked, "What are you?" You can never forget such a person. It has a life-changing experience on you. And the more you see such a person, the more your life changes. A deep impression. And you will realize at the end of your lives, that was the most valuable part of my life, meeting those people. The holy power of holy company. Ashokanji writes, if such a person tells you God is real, you are not the body, not the mind, you have an immortal soul, it has a deep effect. It convinces you. At some very profound level, you feel convinced. So, the power of holy company, that comes to a lot of good karma. To a lot of good karma, the blessings of meeting such people in our lives. It changes our life. Shankaracharya, he sings.
Hold on, before he continues, it's kind of strange when he's talking about that. I just started thinking of Sadhguru and him. There's definitely a difference between these two, how they present themselves and how they talk. And Sadhguru definitely talks in confidence. And again, I don't know if Sadhguru considers himself enlightened or not, but he does say that he's always in bliss. So I don't know if that confirms it or not, but... And also, Swami here, I don't know if he considers himself enlightened or not. I think I asked this question before, and I think someone said he doesn't. And you can kind of see it, you know, you can kind of tell. And what he's talking about, how when you meet these people that are enlightened, there's a difference between them. And I can see the difference between him and Sadhguru. And I don't know what it is. It's how they present themselves. It's exactly what he's talking about. And mind you, I'm watching through a video online here, so it must be... I'm sure it is quite different in person. It's how you present and carry yourself as well. So I could only imagine meeting Sadhguru and then meeting Swami here. And, well, a whole bunch of other people. Lakani, Osho, well, you can't either. Krishnamurti, there's no way to meet him anymore. Osho as well, I believe. Dandapani, I don't know what he does anymore. I'm trying to think of all the other... Is there any, like, I guess, up-and-coming gurus? I'm sure there are lots, but... Like, I would think Dandapani being one of them, but he seemed to have stopped. But anyways, just to point what he was talking about. Like, you can, even in videos alone, you could see there is a difference between Sadhguru and at least Swami Sarvapriyananda.
That satsanga, the company of the holy, is the boat which takes us across the river of samsara, ocean of samsara. All right. So these are the 10 points. Oh, I took such a lot of time. I thought I would take 1 hour, but you've got 10. How much time do we have? Yeah. So, questions, reactions? Tomorrow we'll do the Yoga Sutras.
Oh, geez, I didn't realize.
Comments?
40 questions, right?
All right. If not, minutes. I will tell a story. I'll end this thing with a story. 2 stories, actually. So, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, they are the whole... text is attributed, the whole of yoga tradition, meditation, becoming enlightened through meditation, is attributed to Hiranyagarbha. Literally it means the golden egg or the golden womb. Now different sources give different meanings. It's mentioned in the Bhagavata Purana. It's mentioned in Manusmriti also. And Yagyavalkya Samhita, I think. Yes, that this whole teaching of yoga comes from a great sage called Hiranyagarbha. In the Bhagavata Purana and in Vedanta, Hiranyagarbha is identified with Brahma, the creator of the world. So the story is like this. You know, the iconography, Vishnu, who's always a bit of a couch potato, is lying on the cosmic serpent, Sheshanaga. The cosmic, it's depicted as 1,000-hooded enormous serpent, and on the coils of that serpent, Vishnu is lying on. It is eternal sleep. But he's not sleeping, he's dreaming. and his dream is the universe. So the first thing that happens when the universe is created, which is created many times, again and again, the whole universe goes through cycles of creation, existence, and it disappears again. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. Srishti is not really creation, projection. It's already there, like a movie show. Yeah, that's a good example. In a movie theater, the same movie is shown several times. So it's projected, and it goes on for some time, then it's switched off. But it's still there. The film is still there, and it's projected again. And then it plays, and it's switched off. Now, like that, when at first the universe is projected, the first emanation, first creation, first of the gods to come is Brahma. So the iconography, a lotus blooms in the navel of Vishnu.
Brahma? Then there's Brahma. I don't know if I've heard of Brahma.
And on the lotus is sitting Brahma. That's how it is shown.
Brahma.
Mundakopanishad. Brahma devanam pratamas sambhabhuva vishwasya karta bhuvanasya gopta. Mundakopanishad begins with this. Of all the devatas, the gods, Brahma was the first to emerge. The creator, the constructor of the universe. You say that, but doesn't God create the universe? Yes, Vishnu does create the universe, but he sort of outsources it to Brahma. Because he is...
Maybe it's... Both are the same. It's just not hearing it right for me. Maybe.
Lazy. He tells Brahma, now you do it. I want a universe like this. So Brahma emerges from Vishnu. And he's supposed to create the universe. But at first, the story is that Brahma is called Hiranyagarbha. At first, the story is that Brahma doesn't know, where am I? Who am I? What is this? What's happening? Nothing is there. The universe is not there. He's not even aware of the existence of God, Vishnu. So what does he do? The story, in Bhagavad Purana, the story is, Brahma then closes his eyes. Hiranyagarbha closes his eyes and sits in meditation. Of course, he has eyes and all stuff. So he sits in meditation. And with his inward, concentrated mind, he immediately realizes he has the vision of Vishnu, his source from which he has come, and everything is revealed to him. So that's the beginning of yoga. That's the story. That's the beginning of yoga. So he is the one who discovers yoga, meditation. Because by meditation, he realized everything. He was enlightened. So he passes it down. That's why some of the old texts, this meditation, path of meditation is called, people are called followers of Hiranyagarbha. I read Madhusudan Saraswati writing about yogis. But the word he uses is not Patanjali yogi or yogi. He says for the followers of Hiranyagarbha. What does he mean? Who is this? He is referring that story. So this is one story. Now there's a story about the snake too. This is about Brahma on the lotus. But Vishnu is lying on the cosmic snake. Who is that snake? Patanjali. Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So Patanjali is an incarnation of Adishesha, the cosmic serpent. He is incarnated to do what? To do three things. To give humanity the benefit of three things. One for the mind, yoga, the Yoga Sutras. One for speech, grammar, Sanskrit grammar. And one for the body, Ayurveda. So he is one of the sources of the ancient science of medicine, Ayurveda, Patanjali Rishi. And that's why they have named all these Ayurveda products in India now, the Patanjali Industries and all. But Patanjali Rishi is the incarnation of Sheshanaga, the cosmic serpent. And the three boons he has given to humanity are for mind, speech and body. Kaya, Mana, Vakya. So for mind, this yoga, which we will see tomorrow. And Ayurveda, which is very popular. And for speech, Sanskrit grammar, the sutras of Sanskrit grammar, the foundational text of Sanskrit grammar is Panini Sutra, not the bread. I had that experience when I first landed in USA and the Swami had come to receive me at LAX. We were going in the car to the ashram. I saw Panini written there. I was surprised looking at it like that. I thought, Sanskrit grammar here too. And and the Swami understood what was going on in my mind. It's not that Panini, it's bread, it's a particular kind of bread. I said, oh, okay. Panini was most ancient grammarian. Recently in Harvard, yes, somebody told me. Hold on, somebody told me that it.
Oh, hold on. Okay, rewind it just a little bit. Something happened, but let's continue.
Panini was most ancient grammarian. Recently in Harvard, yes, somebody told me. Hold on, somebody told me that it seems that Noam Chomsky, great linguist, he says the last great linguist that the human civilization saw was Panini in India, and after that Noam Chomsky. And I said, I don't think Chomsky is as great as Panini, and even Chomsky himself would not say that. Yes.
When you taught us about the Mandukya position, you were talking about the dream state, and there you talked about Hiranyagarbha.
Right. Same thing. Cosmic mind. Hiranyagarbha is cosmic mind. Then Vishnu corresponds to the deep sleep state. Saguna Brahman, Ishvara. Ishvara is deep sleep. Cosmic deep sleep is Ishvara. That is the state of Vishnu. Cosmic mind is the state of Brahma, Hiranyagarbha. And cosmic waking is the state of Virat. Exactly that one. Hiranyagarbha. Mind comes. Because yoga has to do with the mind. But beyond all three is the Turiya. Even beyond Vishnu is the Turiya. So what is that? That's you. Yeah, that's you, the real you. The Mandukya Upanishad. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep. And that the fourth one beyond all three. So waking, dreaming, deep sleep are all at individual level, cosmic level. Individual level, individual waker, which we are right now. The technical name for that is Vishwa. When we sleep, I, the dreamer, when I dream, I am called Taijasa, the fiery one. And when I am in deep sleep, I am called Pragya. So these are the three names for me, the individual being. But there is this cosmic waking also. This entire universe together has one designation, Virat, consciousness associated with the entire physical universe. Consciousness associated with one body is Vishwa. Consciousness associated with the entire universe is called Virat, which is what Arjuna saw in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Vishwarupa Darshan. Consciousness associated with the dreaming mind, entire cosmic mind, all our minds together, internet. Consciousness associated with that is called Hiranyagarbha. And consciousness associated with the entire the deep sleep, the resolved state of the universe, the Vishnu state of the universe is called Ishvara, which is Vishnu actually, on the cosmic serpent, deep sleep.
Vishnu is cosmic, deep sleep.
Yes.
Brahma is cosmic.
Mind, dreaming. Yeah. And there's one more right now, this is the Virat. That's the Mandukya cat. So she was asking that one you said Hiranyagarbha, and in Mandukya, in the dream state, cosmic dream state is supposed to be associated with Hiranyagarbha. The term used is Hiranyagarbha. Are they the same? They are the same. They're exactly the same. Why is it associated with yoga? It makes sense, because yoga is all in the mind. It's to do with the mind. Okay. Now, the story I wanted to tell.
The yoga. Wait, let me rewind that. With yoga, it makes sense because yoga it's all in the mind. So karma. Wait.
Why is it associated with yoga? It makes sense, because yoga is all in the mind. It's to do with the mind. Okay.
So karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, and raja yoga all are dealing with the mind.
Now, the story I wanted to tell. When is snacks?
So now we know why the story about bribing kids or young devotees with cookies was his idea in that story. It's like, you know what? I think more people would be excited if there was cookies in the morning.
Oh, tea and coffee, yeah. So we have little time. No, worried you're missing snacks.
Or is he
So the
worried
story
he's
is
missing
this.
snacks?
Patanjali is the incarnation of Sheshanaga, the 1,000-headed serpent of Vishnu. And he gave these 3 boons to humanity. So Panini is the source of Sanskrit grammar. And so how, basically medicine for 3 things. Medicine for the mind, Jung and Freud and psychotherapy, the yoga. So yoga is medicine for the mind. That was given by Patanjali. The Yoga Sutras, which we will study. And Sanskrit grammar is medicine for the speech, so to enable people to speak correctly in Sanskrit. And then the Ayurveda is medicine for the body. Now, what is Patanjali's role in Sanskrit grammar? So Panini wrote the original sutras of Sanskrit grammar. Yoga Sutras are only 195. Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Only 195. And I think Bhakti Sutras are 84 or 85, I think. Brahma Sutras are 555. But the grammar sutras are nearly 4,000. The sutras, where the entire grammar is packed into it. Now it needs explanation. It needs explanation, commentary on that, to explain those sutras. So the masters of Sanskrit grammar, they studied the original Panini Sutras with Patanjali's commentary. Patanjali wrote that commentary. It's called Mahabhashya, the great commentary. So the story goes, Patanjali was about to give it to humanity. And he had 1,000 students. So they would gather in a huge hall, 1,000 students of Sanskrit grammar. They would gather and Patanjali would teach Sanskrit grammar. But he had a rule. And so that he would teach on a big stage, raised platform, and there would be a big curtain which would cover it. So when the class starts, the curtain will be closed. And from behind the closed curtains, he will teach. And when the class is over, then the curtain will be pulled. And then he comes out. Now the students were delighted with the class. They were amazed. 1,000 students. And they each felt that the teacher was speaking to their own questions, and they were speaking to them personally. And they were delighted with it. But students are always students, mischievous. So one of them thought, many of them thought, what's going on? Why is the old man hiding behind a curtain when he's speaking? What's going on behind the curtain? And he had strictly said, during the class, nobody should lift the curtain. Nobody should peek.
Yeah, most people are very curious. When you tell them not to do something, they more than likely will.
One student couldn't contain himself any longer. So when the class was going on, he sort of crept up to the stage and he lifted the edge of the curtain and he looked inside. And inside he saw the stage is not there anymore. It is the entire universe. Stars and planets and all constellations. And the whole thing is covered by this terrifying, this huge serpent with enormous fangs and the 1,000 heads, flame emitting from the flame of destruction, cosmic destruction emitting from the tongues of the 1,000 heads of this serpent, the Sheshanaga, the cosmic serpent. And he got terrified and he fainted and the curtain fell back, that little corner. But he had lifted the little corner, so a spark of that cosmic fire escaped from that. And immediately the 1,000 students were reduced to ashes. They burnt up immediately. And poor Patanjali, he regained his human form and he lifted the curtain and jumped out of the stage and he cried out, alas, 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 not for the students. What will happen to Sanskrit grammar? Alas. At this moment, one boy came to the room and said, sir, may I come in? I think he had gone out for a washroom break or something like that. That's my theory. So that's why he was not burned to a crisp.
Wait. I'm sure he messed up in his speech. He said 1,000 students burnt and died. But where's this person at? So he said there's 1,000 students learning this, and then yet 1,000 students died. But somehow this person, I thought it was like just another person just coming in there, like out of out of the classroom. Like this is I don't know, just some random person that just happened to walk in there. I wonder if there's just like ash everywhere from everyone's death.
And Patanjali was delighted. Grammar is saved, come. And he embraced him and he gave him all Sanskrit grammar. Now the story doesn't end here. There's somewhere it's going. So when this boy was ready to graduate, He had learned the entire Mahabharata and got all the notes. Nowadays it's all computers and mobile, I saw. But in those days you have to write down and on palm leaves. Hard work. So he was ready to graduate. He said, I will go back to my village and start the first Sanskrit school. And Patanjali was very happy. Now I have given grammar to humanity. They can speak well. So now this boy goes on his way back to his village, and then it's a hot summer Indian day, so he wants to rest under a tree. So he goes to rest under this tree, in the shade of the tree, and he keeps the bundle of notes on leaves. Now this goat was grazing nearby.
Uh-oh.
And he sees those nice leaves, so he starts munching on them. Luckily this boy wakes up with a start and he shoos away the goat. Oh my God, shoos away the goat. And he can't get it back again. Remember, no backup, no cloud he can download it from. Because Patanjali has gone back to the cloud. He's gone back to his real state as Sheshanaga. So he rescues the notes, but a part of it is irrevocably lost. And so that is called the goat-eaten commentary, the Ajabhakshita Bhashya. So actually the whole fanciful story I think has been invented because a part of the commentary is not available anymore. So that's why. I wonder if the goat became a grammarian afterwards. That's the story of Patanjali. There's a story of Hiranyagarbha and Patanjali. What they taught became the first manual of meditation. And see how popular it is today, even today, all over the world. The vast amount of Buddhist meditation we see, those are special developments in Tibet, later on in Japan and China. But the source is from India. This is what he learned. Buddha himself learned from the Sankhyan teachers. And he modified it. He developed it further. But the source is there. In fact, I found an interesting article. I was visiting London, so I wanted to see a library, obviously. So, the British Library in London. And I became a member of the British Library. So it's an interesting system they have. Absolutely free. They don't charge a single thing. Within 15 minutes, I was a member of the British Library. I said, I have only 2 hours here. I said, okay, you can just go and see. Without being a member, you can't see the collection. So I went and started searching yoga. And I found an interesting article. One of the greatest modern yogis, Hariharananda Aranyaka, he lived about maybe 50 or 60 years ago, he passed away, more than under 70 or 80 years ago. But the most comprehensive commentary on yoga available now, modern commentary, is by Hariharananda Aranya, who the most recent commentary. He was a great yogi. So it's about his tradition and how they relate to Buddha. And the article says that we were surprised to see that this. Remember, Buddhism and Hinduism have a millennia-long debate. They're like, Buddhists say there is no God, there is no permanent soul, and Hindus try to prove the existence of God and a permanent soul, and so regard them as rivals. But here is a Sankhyan teacher, a yogi, Patanjali yoga teacher, who regards Buddha as one of the greatest Sankhyans. How interesting. So he explores and he shows actually the teachings of Sankhya and the teachings of Buddhism are not very different. Early Buddhism and early Sankhya. There are many similarities there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Buddha himself, Gautama, actually debated Advaita Vedantas, right? I thought it was the later on people of Buddhism that had that debate. Or am I wrong on that one?
We'll talk more about Hariharananda Aranya. They're very interesting. If you say, are there any actual Patanjali yogis? There are Vedantic yogis. Swami Vivekananda is not actually a Patanjali yogi there. He's a Vedantic yogi. We use the techniques. As I said, open up the box of Vedanta, you will find made in China inside. So, all the techniques of yoga we have borrowed, but we are not Patanjali yogis. I am not a Patanjali yogi, but we have borrowed the techniques of Patanjali yoga. But are there any pure Patanjali yogis, so those who want to attain enlightenment just by practicing yoga, Patanjali yoga? There are. There's at least one ashram in a place called Madhupur in Jharkhand, which was not very far from where I stayed. I never got a chance to go to that ashram, but some of my friends did. Our Acharya, who taught us Yoga Sutras, he went there. These monks, they are dedicated followers. And if you enter that, the first thing is that there is a picture of depiction of Hiranyagarbha. And we say, ah, our old friend. Now the head of the monastery, see, the more senior you become there, the more the restrictions are. So when you become the senior most, you go into a cave and you never come out again until you die. Once a week, you can talk to the head of the monastery. He comes to a hole in the cave. You can go to the hole and ask your question. You don't have to wait till next week. At that time itself, he will answer your question. But
Wow, that's a bit extreme, isn't it?
only once a week. And our teacher went there and he met the current head. Once you become a head, you are walled up in a cave. That's it. I'm sure there is no race up the corporate ladder there.
Jeez.
Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.
Okay. Alright. I didn't really talk very much. This is the end of part 1. He told a lot of stories. I was hoping he would go a little bit deeper into the creation of the universe. The only thing I remember reacting to was the fact that Shiva and Krishna are, and from the comments I've read, that they're only ever one of them. They're multidimensional, I guess, and Brahma is many, because he is the one that creates the different universes. So this is a multiverse type of I don't want to say belief, but there are many Brahmas, because each one creates their own universe. But there's only ever one, I believe, one Shiva and one Vishnu. The three main ones I thought were Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma. But in actuality, I think Brahma is many of them. But obviously, the one that ties them all together is Brahman, which is the one true reality. So I guess the next part is going to be the actual practice of it, and which is going to be for the next video actually, because I have to actually load up that video. So anyways, that's my reaction to the first part, and tomorrow is going to be the second part. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.